Welcome to Subramani. I see people spending disproportionately large time on trying to save small amounts of money and ignoring the big thing, because let me explain it to you. Now suppose you're buying vegetables somewhere, and that vendor tells you it is 70 rupees a kilo, and then you haggle and you hassle, and then that person says okay, 65 rupees a kilo. You've saved 5 rupees. Why you feel happy saving 5 rupees or 7 rupees on this is because it is 10%, and you think, wow, I've saved 7 rupees. Now look at it this way: when you go to buy a car for about say 15 lakhs, and if you save 10%, that is huge, right? Because that's 1.5 lakhs. Even if you can get some concessions on the fittings that you're buying, on the audio equipment that you're buying, on the AC or on the insurance or anything, overall if you spend an hour or two on the net searching for them, the facilities that you need, etc., etc., and you can save money, you can save a substantial amount. Maybe you can save 50,000 rupees or 75,000 rupees. Now put the 75,000 in context. Maybe you spend 2,000 rupees a month on vegetables. So that is 75,000 is how much? It is 36 months vegetable, or 37 months of vegetable. That is huge. So try saving the big ones. Doesn't matter to the vegetable vendor whether you are going to negotiate and save 5 rupees or 7 rupees. In fact, it doesn't matter to you at all. So don't sweat the small things, sweat the big ones. Like a husband and wife fighting over why did you buy a t-shirt or why did you not buy it. 800 rupees is not enough to fight. 1500 rupees is not enough to fight. So between husband and wife also have a limit, saying up to this much amount we will not bother too much. But when you maintain your own accounts, it is very useful to know how much is the inflation impacting you, and that's the reason why you maintain your own accounts. And then you also see whether you're being very efficient or not being efficient. I mean, you will not drive down 10 kilometers to buy vegetables to save $100, right? You'd spend much more on that on fuel. So please use your brain and do not sweat these small things. It's quite a bad thing. So the other big mistake which I see people making is not negotiating their salary or raise. Even during pandemic, it's perfectly possible people are getting a raise, people are getting their bonuses, people are changing jobs, right? Everything is happening. Now if your company has already given you the option of you can work from anywhere, and you're from Baroda or you're from Coimbatore, which means you can today leave Mumbai and go to Coimbatore or Baroda and sit and work from there. You have huge advantages, right? So just take it and go. But if another company has not given, then you might as well try to join this company and do that, right? So the biggest mistake which I see people make is in the salary negotiation, that they really do not know how much salary to ask. So first thing is, go on LinkedIn, go to Glassdoor.com, there are a few others now, and find out how much this company pays at your level, how much they will pay. Do some extensive background research about how much that company will pay. Find some contacts. You can always find contacts in companies, right? So first find that out, and if you really want that job and you want to work under a particular person, get into LinkedIn and send a mail, right? All these things are perfectly possible. Then the company then turns around to you and says two stupid questions. What's your current salary? How much are you making now? Honestly, to the new employer, it should not matter, but they all have some fixation. We should not give more than a 5% hike or a 10% hike. So that number which you give is very important to them. And I seriously do not know why that number is important, because if somebody came and told me, Subra, I want to buy this house, and tell me how much did it cost you, it is irrelevant for you. I bought it 20 years ago, or I bought it 15 years ago, I bought it at an X price. It doesn't matter. Tell me today how much you are willing to pay, right? And I noticed this especially when people moved from, say, a PSU bank to a private sector bank. They were all really fooled into saying, how much is your current salary? Just don't give that number. Just say, it doesn't matter, tell me what is the job description, how it is, whether it is suitable, and then I'll tell you. Or pay a compliment and say, I'm sure you're a well managed company, you will pay as per the market, and that's fine, but first can we see what are the responsibilities and what we have to do. This really hurt a friend badly, because she was head of operations in one company and she wanted a change. So I had organized a meeting with the other employer and she went there and gave a number. She gave a number and then she did not get any calls, and I was quite surprised because I knew that the interview had gone well. So I asked my friend, I said, you did the interview, 17 days have passed and there is no offer letter, why is this? So he called back laughing, saying she has asked for a much lower number, not a much lower number, about 15% lower than what we pay, right? So my people did not know what to do. So I said, it doesn't matter, pay her the current salary which you would have paid if she had not given you the number, simply because I don't want her to join and after some time find that she's unhappy because of the parity, not having parity with the others. So this is a very great and nice employer. Every employer will not do that. So if you've gone wrong with your employment negotiation, do you realize that that one mistake has cost you much more than all the vegetables that you will consume in your lifetime? So concentrate on that. Ask for these numbers, or say things like my current employer does not like my numbers to be thrown about. I'm sure you would also not like it, so I will not. You tell me what is the responsibility, what work I have to do, etc. Based on that I will decide. It will not be based on what I'm currently earning. It shouldn't matter at all. If I bought this house 20 years ago for say 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs and today the market price is 3 crores, am I just going to say, oh, I'm getting more than 6 lakhs? It doesn't matter. It is irrelevant, right? So also have the guts to walk out, because today if there are enough jobs available and therefore you're seeking to change, have the guts to say, look, I don't like this, I will walk out. So be ready to walk out even on the salary question, saying, if you ask for my salary, I will not tell you. Of course, you will not make it that blunt, but or you will throw a number and say, I will provide you the papers, but tell me the job description, what is going to happen, how many people are going to report to me, what am I going to do, am I going to play a role in the industry apart from what I'm doing in the company. Ask for all these questions, collect all those details, and then in the end, if you think it's heading somewhere, and then throw your number at him. Say, this is my CTC and I expect a 25% jump or a 5% jump or a 7% jump, whatever it be. So be careful about this, because that one single mistake is costing you much more than what the vegetable vendor saving that you will do. So please concentrate on the big things, and big things in absolute terms, not in relative terms. It does not matter that you saved 5 rupees in a 50 rupee item or whether you saved 30,000 in a 3 lakh rupee item. In absolute terms, 30,000 is what you should be concentrating on, not on 5 rupees. Look at your employer. Maybe your employer is paying you 5,000 rupees a day, right? That's your salary, or it is 1,000 rupees a day. It doesn't matter. Why would you spend time with the vegetable vendor trying to save rupees 5? You might as well do some leisurely activity and get that vegetable vendor to believe that you are a good quality buyer and she or he is going to give you good prices. Thank you.